record. YouTube, what's going on? We are back with another video, and we are watching a video from Serachi. They made some previous videos. I've heard very positive things about them. I'm pretty sure I watched one of them. I don't know if we uploaded it, but it was a really, oh, they're actually live now. Everyone go follow them. Really solid video. I can't remember when. I know I'm not bugging. We need to talk about signature weapons. Yes, this video from 2 months ago. This one went crazy. So, I want to hear their thoughts. Are people tired of gacha games? And I'm going to make a separate video about this, but I think Duet Night Abyss really proves gacha games are not just a monetization model. They are also actively affecting the gameplay. And it is some sort of subgenre. And I do think that these gacha games are absolutely... I think they're getting repetitive. You know, at the end of the day, like, why are we playing World of Warcraft? Well, I've always wanted to play WoW, and I'm kind of just like, yeah, let's just play a real video game. Just play a real game, you know, instead of having to spend $300, $400, sometimes $500 a month for the end game mode to be catered to that character, and then I kind of get bored of that character, and then the next one comes. Just play real video games. So I'm very curious to see their perspective on why are people tired of gacha games.
It's 2024 and successful gacha games have been dropping left and right for years now. After the release of Genshin Impact and later Honkai Star Rail the previous year, the market has been dropping hit after hit. Love in Deep Space, Wuthering Waves, Sunless Zone Zero, Pokemon, TCG Pocket, Girls from Maine 2, and so on. People were playing gachas and they wanted more. Fast forward to 2025, however, and suddenly there are no new gacha games. Or more accurately, there are no new mainstream gacha games. What exactly happened? Have recent gacha games lowered in quality somehow? Have the best games of the year simply not released yet? Or are people just tired of gachas as a genre?
I don't know how people could shit on them.
To put things in perspective, let's take a look at how gachas have evolved over the years. Before 2020, the genre held a
I think that... What month are we in? We're in September? I feel like a lot of people expected games like Duet Night Abyss. Well, I mean, Duet Night Abyss is technically coming out in a month, right? Arknight's Enfield. A lot of people are expecting bigger games to drop in 2025. I think we might be getting Chaos Night Zero, whatever it's called, in 2025. What do we get? Etheria Restart came out. Is that it? Is that it? Is that all that came out? I genuinely can't remember. But we didn't have a lot of releases yet. I will say, though, I am a little worried about the future. Neverness to Everness seems to just be, unfortunately, slop in some ways. Also, what up? What up, MC? What up, baby? Yeah, I think people are waiting. People are really hyping up Neverness to Everness, including myself. Yo, Manny, I appreciate the follow. Thank you, man. Welcome in. Hope you have an amazing day today, man. Welcome in. People were really hyping up that game, including myself. I played it. The beta substantially got worse. I was very disappointed. You guys saw the clip on Twitter. You don't need me to explain that one again. But I just think people are like with Chaos Night Zero, the thing with that game that's honestly turning it off for me is that it has a 50-50 system, or 75-25 on the weapons, and it has a 50-50 system for characters. And that's pretty shit. I don't want to play that now. I don't want to play a game where, again, I understand gacha games have to make money. No one's saying that they can't make money. But at the same time, when it really does feel like all of them are just kind of looking at that Hoyo model to try to milk you for every single dollar you have, it kind of is just boring. Kind of just boring to get that shit out. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, get that shit out there. Has Crazy Pity too. Like, the game looks awesome. The game genuinely looks amazing, but it's like, fuck, dude, like this is what we were waiting for. And I think we need to really crack down on those systems, because those systems just suck cock. You know, I'm not playing a gacha system with a system worse than WoW. Exactly. And even yesterday, we were rolling on viewer accounts, right? And we're rolling with viewer accounts, and then we lose a 50-50. And then we go to hard pity on the weapon. And I'm like, this is why I stopped spending money on gacha games. It's not just WoW. I stopped spending money on Genshin. You know, maybe sometimes I'll swipe on my girl's account for like a little gift or something, because, you know, obviously I'm a based boyfriend. It is what it is. But like, I actively won't spend money on these games because the gameplay loop to me is not intriguing enough to the point where I could justify and quantify spending a couple $100s to play these games, including Wuthering Waves. You know, account ruined. Absolutely, that's my fault, Luna. I apologize. I'm a piece of shit. I just can't quantify that as an adult trying to move, get money, you know, support me and have a family. It's like, but even if I was, you know, at the beginning, I was really into spending money on Wuwa, Genshin, HSR, even ZZ at one point. But it's like, why? Like, fucking why? The gameplay loop, it's just not enough. For me, it isn't. So I'm just kind of like, all right, like, you know? I feel like a lot of people feel that way.
For low quality cash grabs, games that would try to sink both your time and money with little return. This changed, however, with the release of Genshin Impact and the booming success that came with it. While the stigma around gacha games remained, companies realized that gachas could be something more than low-effort slop, and players' expectations on the genre were permanently raised.
I gotta pull this, it says.
In an attempt to reap the fruits in the new era of gacha games set by Genshin Impact, companies began developing more fleshed-out, high-quality games, often trying to simulate or take inspiration from Genshin's UI. At first, though, none were successful. The previously hyped term Genshin Killer associated with such games became reduced to a meme after one after the other flopped. Tower of Fantasy, the most infamous example of this, still remains as the laughingstock of the gacha community to this day. For years, Genshin seemed untouchable, uncontested in the gacha market.
We say Genshin is low effort slop now. However, Sidebar, well, I'm not gonna lie to you, Notcry is actually pretty decent in the sense of like the actual region's not that bad and the story's pretty okay. To be very fair, I'm actually gonna make a video covering that. But Genshin Impact is what revolutionized the space. What was once considered low effort slop is considered the greatest thing that's ever happened since sliced bread, right? So we could say that, and there's definitely some validity to that now, abso-fucking-lutely. But at the time, it was revolutionary as fuck, you know. So we got to be fair. We got to be fair. We can't have like revisionist history. Now, I do think a lot of it is low effort stop, and they're just milking their players 1,000,000 fucking %. But there's some genuine positives, which I'll talk about when I record my video later tonight.
As players had comparatively little interest in other games. However, this dominance would eventually change thanks to none other than Hoyoverse themselves, the company who made Genshin Impact in the first place.
100%.
In April 2023, Honkai Star Rail released with a bang, captivating old and new players into the franchise. The turn-based gameplay was distinctive enough to separate it from Genshin while still keeping the charm from its graphics. Like Genshin, gameplay was extremely simple and approachable, appealing to a broad genre of audiences. With how uncompetitive the market was back then, these were ideal traits to have in a game for greater outreach. Moreover, HSR surpassed Genshin in many avenues, most notably the sheer quality of life benefits the latter lacked. A higher max energy cap, auto-farming on dailies, a menu to claim them, and many more added patch after patch. I mention this because for the very first time, Genshin had an obstacle they didn't before: competition. By the hand of their own company, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Many of Genshin's quality of life improvements that we see today were added only after HSR's release due to the
There's a lot of them that have never made it to Genshin Live, dog. Like, there's a lot of those motherfuckers that still haven't made it to Genshin Live, to be fair. But yeah, I do actually know that they're setting up Twitter accounts for the new Hoyoverse, game, which is going to be a Animal Crossing game. And Honkai Anima Nexus looks like genuine fucking slop garbage from what I've personally seen. Again, it has a market for like kids and shit. But if you're like a person who's actually well-versed in gacha and anything, you probably won't play it, especially because the TFT stuff just looks super fucking boring. But yeah, it's unfortunate how they do this pattern of making one game better, and then after that, they just, for whatever reason, will refuse to revisit the other ones, or at least Genshin in particular, you know, because they do revisit ZZZ quite often, because they need to, and they have added quality of life to HSR. It's slow, not as slow as Genshin, but still, it's a very weird thing that they do, man. It's fucking dumb.
Pressure from their sister game. And it didn't just stop there. 2024 saw the release of several other mainstream gacha games, some even surpassing Genshin in terms of sales. Many of them share the same art style, UI, and systems as Genshin Impact. So finally, for many, Genshin wasn't the only option anymore.
Blessed.
Oh, wait. Genshin wasn't the only option anymore. Since the start of 2025, there have been next to no new mainstream gachas. Gacha games were still being made, but none of them seemed to stick. Tribe 9, Black Beacon, Persona 5X, Etheria Restart. Each one of these games had at best a spurt of playtime during the first month before basically falling off the map, and at worst, les EOS.
I think those games never had a chance. And I think a game like Chaos Zero, whatever the fuck it's called, I don't even remember the name of it. I don't think that game really has a chance either in the sense to break the mainstream audience. I think it's going to have an audience similar to Epic 7, which is not something to scoff at or anything. And all of these games will absolutely be profitable and make money. But these games don't capture the AAA feeling. Like Black Beacon, you couldn't even run Black Beacon on a normal emulator. You had to download a Windows emulator, and the emulator didn't even fucking work for like a week, right? You know, Etheria Restart, playing that game is actively like having a second job, right? And so due to these all different circumstances where those games have a limited audience base, which is why I think people look forward to games like Ananta, like an Arc Knights Enfield, because those are, whether you like it, don't like it, it doesn't matter. The popularized gacha games are the open world or the high budget games that have AAA like qualities to them. So I never really saw those games as having a chance, to be very transparent with you. I thought Ethereal Restart was going to be my next main game because I just really loved it in the beta. I was like, fuck it, I'm willing to take a hit to play it. But yeah, well, I mean, we saw how that went, right? So there was that. But yeah, wouldn't matter. CZN has a small audience. Yeah, Season's going hard with Gooner bait, so they'll succeed. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, they're gonna make money and shit. You know, there's no doubt about it. But they're not going to hit a level of a. They're not gonna hit the level of like a Genshin or some shit, or even a Wuthering Waves. You know, Wuthering Waves is a bit of an anomaly in the space that we're in now. To be very transparent with you. Also, give me 1 second of that. But yeah, okay, let's keep it pushing.
While bad management was definitely one of the reasons for the failure of many of these games, there was definitely another contributing factor.
Yo, Jay, I appreciate the resub, brother. Thank you, man.
Tired of gacha
thank you. I
games.
love you, homie.
Gachas have many inherent problems that could prevent.
My fucking go. Thank you. Welcome in, Reigns. Wuwa came out just at the right time. Abso-fucking-lutely. Wuwa came out at the right time because it showed in which that the Hoyoverse model was not the only model to have a successful gacha game, and it could be open world, and they could be a bit more forgiving with the player base and a bit more less conservative with their currency and stuff. Abso-fucking-lutely. So Wuwa almost shit the bed. Oh, 1,000,000%, right? But Wuwa was a right place, right time type of deal. I think just a lot of people, like you said, were very frustrated with Genshin, including myself, right? I gravitated towards Wuwa so much. Like, a lot of my content when Wuwa dropped was, hey, guys, like, you know, people pretend I was trying to push an agenda of, like, Hoyo bad or whatever. It was never about an agenda. It was simply about the fact that this game is fundamentally, you know, doing things better than Genshin and still being very fucking successful. Very, very, very fucking successful. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was the whole thing. Like when people at the start, you know, were like comparing the games, because it's like trying to wake you up, like, hey, cut the Hoyo PTSD out for a moment. Like, how about we like not sit down and take, you know, getting shit in our mouth by Dawe. But it's fucking stupid. So yeah. But I agree. I think Wu was right place, right time, absolutely. And it's just a good game. Although I'm kind of, it's the fucking end game is whatever at this point.
Prevent them from horizontally scaling as a genre. For one, the time commitment needed to maintain a single gacha game is inconvenient. In fact, it's the only genre in gaming that normalizes daily tasks, meaning that you are expected to log in every day for 5 to 15 minutes or so to accomplish various assignments and spend your time-gated resources. If you fail to do this, you risk your account falling behind, or worse, unable to obtain enough currency or materials
Breaking gacha FOMO was the best thing I ever did, sidebar.
To obtain and level up the future character you really like. To compound this even further, most gacha games also have extra weekly tasks in regularly scheduled events, which when added up, can result in huge time sinks. It's no wonder that the genre has a reputation of becoming a second job to players, and as a result, your average person can only realistically handle maintaining 1 or 2 gachas at a single time. And this is where the issue lies. If people are already attached to a gacha game or multiple of them, they are less enticed when a new one releases, as that would mean in order for them to play it, they would have to take even more time out of their day maintaining this new game that may or may not take off. Furthermore, gacha accounts are an accumulation of the months, if not years, of a person's efforts. So naturally, many players are unwilling to drop an existing gacha game they worked hard on for a new game where they would have to start from scratch, even if that new game might be higher quality. And if you can't convince established gacha players to play your new game, good luck introducing non-gacha players to the genre with its bad reputation.
Absolutely.
To illustrate, there were tons of people who were impressed by Silver Palace's gameplay, only to immediately turn tail and run the moment they found out it was a gacha. And to top it all off, there's the good old gacha tribalism. That's right.
Well, before we get to tribalism, because obviously we have a lot to say about that, I think an example... I think Duet Night Abyss is going to be a really big case study. I do. I pray to God. I don't know if Duet Night Abyss is going to have the content that people want it to have, but I pray to God Duet Night Abyss is successful, because I think people are going to see if Duet Night Abyss can find a way to create an audience that is going to be around and be, be successful monetarily and player base wise without taking without having the gacha mechanic in there. I think maybe we might see some other studios possibly do that. Again, CZN is copying HSR system. That's fucking dog shit, right? So I hope and I pray to the fucking lords that Duet Night Abyss is awesome, just so that way people can be like, yo, this is a method that can work if your game is fucking good. Imagine... look, let's call a spade a spade. A lot of the time people complain about gacha games. What don't you like about it? The gacha. Right? Imagine if Duet Night Abyss, not Duet Night Abyss, if Ananta's good, but, it has a gacha system. It's like, fuck, bro. Like, come on. Is Duet Night Abyss? Yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Just like how sports fans go at each other's throats for their favorite team, or how anime watchers endlessly wage war on whether One Piece or Naruto is a superior show. One Piece is better, by the way.
No, it's not! Shut up!
Who are loyal to
you
a
fucking
particular
gacha
game
tourist!
hate it when other gachas get popular, as that would mean less people are playing their game that they've spent so much time on. All these factors combined contribute to the pessimism of the releases of future games. The waning attitude for new releases, as well as the current state of new gachas, has gone so bad that Duet Night Abyss even decided to completely remove the gacha portion of their game, likely influenced by the fact that the market was too saturated and they could not risk going into such a competitive field. And based on current trends, yes, this was a very good move by them. There are so many gacha games that look like this.
It's a good move, but it's a risky move because they're also now competing directly with Warframe. And Warframe's a fucking juggernaut in that space because Warframe's the only game that's like Warframe, right? So it's absolutely a risky move. And I think it is the right move to do, but they're also going up against a juggernaut in the sense of, like, obviously there's Genshin Impact in the space with their own waves and stuff, but I think Warframe in itself is probably a bit more of a daunting task to go up against, in my opinion. Does Warframe have enemy bouncing titties? It has bouncing mech penises. It's pretty nice.
Or this.
Nice.
Or this. Taking a look at this, oversaturation is very real.
My thing with all these gacha games that are coming out, I'm so numb to the combat because it's all the exact same. It's a 4-man swap or 3-man swap system.
No, it's not. No, it's literally not all the same. Gotcha, Smack. You make me angry. In Genshin Impact, I can apply Dendro. What game has grass that I could apply, and then I could put water there to grow the grass, but then I could use electricity so that way I could electrify the grass. You freaking piece of trash. Sorry. That's how I view the normal person in a comment section of a gacha video.
Fancy animation.
I regret subbing.
I just don't. I don't care about that anymore. It's the least intriguing thing to me now when I watch a new gacha game. If I watch a new gacha game and the thing I see is just the swap system, the fancy ult, and the like intro in or outro, or it literally does nothing to me, bro.
I think that's a
it's no wonder that the attitude for future games like Honkai Anima Nexus, Azure Familia, Neverless to Everness, and Arknight's Enfield is so negative compared to before. Every game just kind of looks like Genshin and its successors. Sure, these games may differ in gameplay and aesthetics, but they all have a similar UI, perspective, and general style. Maybe it's not the fact that people are tired of gachas, but perhaps they just want more uniqueness to the games.
To be fair, I will say this. A lot of the games having similar UIs, I actually think is a good thing. Maybe I'm in the minority here, but I think Wuthering Waves implementing Tower of Adversity as well as having a similar UI to Genshin Impact was a positive. I'm not the biggest fan of TOA. I mean, obviously it's better than Wii was, so like now I love it because Wii was fucking dog shit, right? But that creates a level of familiarity that would drive a player in. Oh, I've seen that in another game before. I can navigate this. That way I don't need to learn everything. Like, look at Zenless Zone Zero, right? Zenless Zone Zero, when that shit launched, I mean, I still think the ZZZ UI is very confusing. It's very overwhelming, and I feel like I need a PhD to decipher it. But the familiarness of it, I don't think is bad. I actually think that is a good thing, and that probably more games could use to their likeness as like a leg up, to be honest with you. Touch some grass, never that. I only touch ass. Yeah, I agree with you, Wuma. It's very good. It's very, very good to have a familiar UI, right? ZZ shit was just, they were doing too much. There's a balance, obviously. Like, not every game is going to be like ZZZ and do too much, but at the same time, like, that shit was ridiculous. So, yeah. No, I that's the one thing I kind of like could give a little pushback on, but other than that, I think it's a great video so far.
Elaborate, there was actually one gacha that did become very mainstream in the year of 2025, Musume Pretty Derby. While it technically was originally released in Japan during 2021, it released globally just a few months ago and immediately took off, which for the purposes of this video's topic is fair game. What's interesting is that Musume actually has a pretty bad gacha system in terms of rate and pity. Additionally, dailies take very long if you actually want to use all your resources. Even in terms of production quality, it falls noticeably short of today's mainstream gachas. However, unlike many other games releasing or released this year, Musume had a very distinctive charm. Roguelike gameplay that was completely unique to the mainstream gacha space, tons of fleshed out characters, and hilarious references to the real-life counterparts. Now, to be fair, the game has only been around for 3 months at the time of this video, so it might be too soon to call it successful. That being said...
No, I think you could call that game successful. I think that's a very fair assessment. That game is fucking... I don't get the appeal, personally. I think the anime seems cool from what I've seen, 100%. Like, I understand people liking the anime, but, yeah, no, I absolutely think it's successful, 1 million%.
So far, they're doing great and are not slowing down. Perhaps the key to making a successful modern gacha game isn't to make another Genshin UI clone, at least the ones that are currently being churned out.
So fuck a horse.
Instead, players may be looking for more unique games. Because of this, I don't think the gacha genre will necessarily die. After all, there are plenty of niches still needed to be filled. Infinity Nikkei players are still looking for a decent replacement for the game, and the current mainstream market has been brutal to male character lovers. That all being said, let me know if you disagree. I would love to be proved wrong by any of these new gacha games, because I'm still excited for a lot of them. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you later.
That was a great video. I'm honestly very nervous that, the upcoming gachas, I mean, I said it in my last video, the upcoming gachas don't really change much in the sense of they're kind of all just the same shit. I'm not waiting 4 years for Silver Palace to come out and some shit. We'll just fucking like play World of Warcraft and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'll always love gacha games, and I will always play them and try them. But there is going to be a time where the main channel content shifts. I know we have the alternative channels as well, but I do think this upcoming year is a really big fucking, okay, how is the gacha space going to go? Because right now the gacha space is dog shit. And even if, let's say Wuthering Waves 3.0 drops tomorrow, right? And it's the greatest fucking 3.0 patch of all time, because I think 2.0 is up there. I think 2.0 is one of the greatest patches. That is only going to carry you for so long. It's only going to carry you for so long. There needs to be other video games. There needs to be other competitors. And, yeah, if it's not... I don't know, man. We're in a little bit of a weird spot. But again, great video. Everyone go follow the homegirl. I see you boys in the next one. W.